What is up? How's your AMC and GME positions? Don't worry, there will be a future video on that, but today I want to talk about SOS Limited. I just want to say I have no gag this week for any of the like and subscribing thing, but hey, since you're here, if you can hit that big red subscribe button, hit that like, and leave a comment, I can probably get back to you depending on, if you actually asked a question or not. But actually, speaking of which, if you do want to join me or yell at me or scream at me or whatever, use your facts as feelings or anything like that. Uh, I'm thinking of streaming on Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Come by if you guys want to. I mean, like I'm good. I'm just gonna be chilling after market and seeing like whatever the top ticker on the day is, and then I'll probably just break that down live for you guys to see. So the topic for today's video is something called SOS Limited. And originally, the description, I did look at this before, and their description was they were a technology company that provides marketing data, technology, and solutions for emergency rescue services to corporate and individual members. It operates SOS Cloud, Emergency Rescue Services as a service platform that offers cloud-based products such as medical rescue, car rescue, financial rescue, and mutual assistance rescue cards. Cooperative cloud products, including information rescue centers, intelligence big data, and intelligence software and hardware, et cetera, et cetera. It just goes on like that, right? They seem to be a very broad spectrum, very outreaching company, but I read this, but I also see that they are mostly being investigated for their like claims about being a Bitcoin miner, and then now there's being claims about being fraud and deception and stuff like that. But let's just jump into it. Off the cuff, I already don't like this company. I did read a little bit about it before like any of this actually blew up, and they were talking about being a crypto miner. And to see that the description does not match what they are claiming is just kind of weird. But sites like this don't update that frequently. The only thing that really troubled me back then was they are a company based in China. All right, for those of you who have never touched an ADR or even touched a Chinese company before, you got to know that there are some rules that apply to these companies. And the first one is that what the Communist Party wants, the Communist Party gets. Simple as that. If they piss off a regulator down there or someone connected to a regulator down there, their company's gone because a majority of their company, or you basically share ownership, but a majority of the company is owned by the party itself. And but some people would argue, but redemption, America has eminent domain. How is this any different? Here's the thing. In America, well, in China, your American rights don't apply, so you can't get it back, right? But in America, you can actually get yourself back. You have to sue for it. It's, really difficult to do, but eventually you will get your stuff back, right? In China, you'd be lucky to get anything out of it. Now, there's a little magic trick that these ADRs can pull, and China does this a lot, where they can essentially fluff up the numbers, get you guys to invest in there, and then essentially dump it back on you, or do a share dilution or something like that. They could basically take money away from you, and if you go after them with an SEC fine or whatever, anything like that, most of these fines are less than what they make from that thing, so they can pay it if they want to. They just choose not to because you can't enforce your American rules down in a foreign nation. China's not going to care. All right, so going to the company page, as you can see right there, right in front of your face, is blockchain innovators serving the world. I don't know how that's going to help with emergency services or whatever they're providing, but let's go look. So they have internet insurance services, vehicle rescue services, finance rescue, et cetera, blah, 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 SOS technology, blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing, though. Whenever someone says blockchain or whatever, right? Like Kodak said that they're going to use blockchain. Well, how is Kodak going to use blockchain technologies? Because Kodak's a camera company. They made and developed film. They work with chemicals and all that sort of stuff. How is blockchain going to help them? They never specified how they're even going to utilize it, right? And for something like this, how are you going to utilize blockchain in emergency services? That's just a question I want to leave with you. Now let's look at their books really quickly. So they had some really good revenue in 2017, and then a decline in revenue 2018, and it just seems to be continuing declining. So this is like, pre-COVID and that sort of thing, right? But signs like that are usually the sign of a declining company, and I don't know why everybody's so hyped on this thing. But if you guys look at the gross profit, they also are declining in gross profit. They're not really doing any more research and development. The SG&A expenses are also going down, which means that this company is literally hemorrhaging money and they're kind of dying. Now, you guys got to know that I kind of hate this portion because, I constantly say that the news is very deceptive, but we have to go over it because we have to get a certain sentiment of what they're trying to portray. And the first one is going to be back in March 1st, SOS gains after refuting Hindenburg research allegations. Well, what were their allegations? So let's go see. So it says that in late February, we called SOS an obvious shell game. A new FAQ released by the company today with some stunning emissions make this even clearer. Blah, blah. Discover the SOS office's headquarters doesn't appear to exist. We visited the address in the SEC filing and found it was a hotel. On January 19th, SOS entered into a non-binding LOI to purchase FXK, a Canadian crypto technology company. Okay. Undisclosed related party shell, which again, if you guys are in Canada, you guys will know that we have a lot of shell companies up here. We're basically the Cayman Islands of the North. Find no real office of FXK, which some companies have PO boxes just as their like company address. Which, I mean, if you've ever tried to get an LLC in America as a foreign citizen, that's basically the route to go. Yeah, you guys can read the research through here, but basically they're saying it's essentially just a huge nothing burger, right? Because it's a fraud after a fraud after a fraud. These guys, Hindenburg is more new to the game from what I remember. Muddy Waters is more of a the OG for calling out fraudulent companies. For the next stuff, like you guys can read these articles yourselves. Again, I read through them. I don't really see anything outstanding there. And, I saw a lot of comparison to Mara and RIOT and stuff like that. The thing with Mara is that the last I read that was that they owned about 7% of all the world's mining. They ordered another 20,000 miners. They're solely focused on investing in crypto mining and stuff like that, right? For this company, again, my thing with scattered focus is that you're not focusing on what's making you money. You're trying to like essentially bleed money elsewhere. But they also, can say stuff like, well, we're going to allocate ourselves this amount of capital to buy ourselves a jet or to buy a house here and stuff like that, right? But anyway, so let's move on. So SOS climbs 22% after Q1 guidance on Bitcoin and Ether mining, blah, blah. So the company installs a second fleet of 5,000 mining rigs. Okay, cool. So they are expanding on that sector. Next one is SOS stock climbs after licensing software for digital asset exchange. Exchanges, blah, 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 provide blockchain services, digital asset services, and decentralized financial services. Again, this is investing in their sort of Bitcoin business, which is good. I mean, sure, whatever. Well, it's yet to be seen how good it's going to be. Next one is enters joint venture with Ron Key to establish a supercomputing center in Qingdao. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay. Again, like I said previously, next one is SOS prices 125. Oh, okay, yeah. So this is the share dilution. So they're going to give out 25 million shares. Sorry, they're going to sell 25 million shares and 25 million shares worth of warrants. And this is a capital raise to be used in developing its crypto mining and security as well as working capital and general corporate use. Again, they can spend it on wherever they want, but it might not actually be focused on what you guys want to see, which is like, they're going to buy more Bitcoin miners, which is what Mara is doing. They could essentially, hide it in their books. But again, this is all speculation. Next one is, hang on, let me go back up. This short attack was misguided, but SOS remains substantially overvalued. Yeah, so I read through this earlier, and yes, I kind of agree with a lot of what they're saying, and they also mentioned Overstock, which is Overstock has their own exchange called Trade Zero, and they were actually one of the first companies to actually take crypto before everybody else. Their acquisition of Trade Zero actually just made it easier for you to convert your dollars to crypto and crypto to dollars and stuff like that. So again, if it was me, I'd probably put more of my money towards Overstock. And then this last one I came across is, if you guys have been around for a while, you guys know this is becoming a pet peeve of mine because everybody seems to be so hooked on this as the new big bad wolf. But elevated short interest, high volatility brings opportunity. Okay, so I'm kind of sick and tired of people talking about short interest, but unfortunately, because people are still so hinged on this, let's go see what they're talking about. So we're back at shortsqueeze.com. As you guys can see, I have SOS Limited ADR up there. As you can see, as I highlighted earlier here, the current short interest right now is 14 million, and what's the outstanding one is about 179. And oh yeah, so it's about 11%. So I don't know what you guys are talking about the short squeeze, but because again, 11% isn't that big compared to most other things. Um, yeah, I just don't understand because you guys keep saying that 130%, which I'll agree with you on. GME is a big like short percentage. It seems like overkill. And then people were talking about, oh, the squeeze has not been squoze yet, and they were saying this when I was at 40%. Now it's at 26%, and then whatever the next update's going to be, which is again 2 weeks behind or whatever. Uh, I don't know why people are saying 11% is a lot. It's not. It's literally not a lot. So if you made it this far, thank you. I think you guys do probably like to see what my personal thoughts on this situation is, and most of it has to do with like I don't really invest in a lot of these Chinese-based companies because, like I said before, they can lie about a lot of things and they can get away with a lot more things than you guys realize, right? Um, these people that are like chasing these things that are trying to relive GME in a different stock or whatever happened in the last quarter, they have to understand that that was kind of a fluke. It was an election year and so forth, and we were coming off this like whole political high. It was being very charged and everything, right? Um, it's not always like that, and it kind of leads them to this whole unhealthy like lack of skepticism towards like asking rational questions. So I think that's a big weakness that people really need to work on. But again, like I'm not their father. They can do as they please too. They can improve if they want to. It's not really affecting me in any way. But this whole thing about short interest being like a magic bullet situation, um, honestly, I think it's utterly stupid. It's kind of like how before, like a couple of years ago, whenever someone said, "Oh, our company's going to be involved in blockchain," instant 10% jump in their stock. It's just buzzwords. All these are buzzwords. Like they're going to say something like crypto mining, crypto, cloud, etc., etc. They're all buzzwords. They're there to just give them a temporary spike in their stock price, and that's it. Just the hype for people to flush in. They're not actually going to do it, or they might not actually fully follow up on what they're talking about, right? At least until the hype dies down, anyways. But um, yeah, that's basically all I have to say on the situation. I am going to go live on Wednesday, April 14th at 4 p.m. Eastern. I might run for just an hour or so. I don't really have the energy to do all this like 24/7, but I'll just be chilling, seeing whatever the hype is on the day. Might just break it down there. But yeah, don't forget to subscribe so guys get a notification when I go live. Like the video, leave a comment, whatever, and just remember, just because you're a day trader doesn't mean you have to trade every single day.